Okay, fifth time I've attempted to upload this video. Basically, this is not a response specifically to any one person. However, I'm going to use a couple of phrases that Bionic Dance has used when I've heard her use in a couple of her videos, which is that objective morality is something that floats out in space, because I think this sums up the problem. Objective morality is not something that floats out in space. Well, excuse me. It is, yeah, sorry, I'm right. It is not something that floats out in space, but neither is subjective morality. The point is that you're arguing the wrong point. The point of morality is to find the best morality. The difference between objective morality and subjective morality is the structure. Objective morality is structured in a way in which you say, I think everyone should be as educated as possible, and I base my morality around that. So, with objective morality, over here, what I do is I say, oh, hey, you know, in that case, we should always follow these rules, because if we didn't do these things, it wouldn't lead to that conclusion. 100% of the time, we should always do it. And subjective morality, which is over here, says, you know, what can we do in each particular event to make it fit, or to make it have the outcome we desire? That makes it moral. I'm going to do a video on what I think morality actually is and give an in-depth explanation as to why I think morality is neither subjective or objective, but a sort of combination of the two, beyond the point. Now, to make sure that I have made myself clear, Kant developed a morality which was objective. His morality stated that if you thought something had to happen this way all the time, 100% of the time, boom, then that's exactly what objective morality is. You have to do the same thing 100% of the time. If you imagine in the future, if everybody didn't do it, that it would be bad. Whatever you perceive as bad. Perhaps your morality, perhaps you and Kant disagree using his morality. Yes, in that sense, perhaps it is subjective. But it is also with subjectivity to say that, well, each particular event, the big flaw with subjectivity is with each particular event, it is, you're doing mental gymnastics. Case in point. You see 5 people on a railroad track. I know everybody's heard this bullshit before, but you see 5 people on a railroad track, and on one track, there's one person walking, and it's going to hit the 5. You can throw the switch and only kill the 1. Now, the thing is that I do want to explain this really quick. I've never heard this before. I literally came up with this myself. I don't give a shit if you think that's true. And you say, well, should you throw the switch or not? And most people will say, throw the switch, kill the 1, save the 5. What if, instead of that one person, it's a child, and down below where it's safe, there's an adult telling the child, you won't get hurt, that train's not going to hit you. That train is not going to hit you. The train is on the track to hit the child, but there are 5 people on another track. Now, there are 3 potential responses. I think this actually does get to my point. There are 3 potential responses. There's response 1, which is to say, you know, I shouldn't get involved. I don't know, and just walk away. Response 2 is to flip the switch and kill the 5 people and save the 1 child. And response 3 is to let the 5 people die, whereas the 1 child works. Now, the reason that I don't find this to be consistent with the reason I find this to be consistent with the fat man example, where you push a big fat man in front of a car to save 5 people, same thing, is because the fat man is A, uninvolved, B, there's no risk, he's walking down the street, and C, he's fat. However, on the other hand, you have a child that thinks it's in the right place, that thinks it's doing something that's okay, whereas 5 people who know being on train tracks is a dumb idea. You know, if they're dumb, quite frankly, having seen lots of trains in my life and knowing how actually quiet they are, if you're dumb enough to walk on train tracks, you're dumb enough to get hit by a train. I wouldn't flip the switch. If that were the case, I would probably let the 5 people run over and go inquire as to why the parent is a complete moron. Anyway, now how does that relate? Well, objective morality, a subjective morality, took all those things that I just said into account. Just took into account everything that I just said to develop the theory as to why that's wrong, so to speak. The hypothesis as to why that's wrong. I think that's a little more accurate. Now, a subjective morality, or an objective morality, excuse me, would be one that said killing is always wrong. If you interfere with that switch, or if you interfere with a way that causes more people to die, it will be wrong because you've killed somebody. So basically, you can't touch the switch, or you're going to see it as you have to save the most people regardless. Now, you could do any of that with subjective morality, I agree. But basically, objective morality would be stating, don't kill people. And that means you can't mess with that switch that could potentially save or kill people. Anyway, that's pretty much the difference. They are both subjective in the sense that they, anybody can have a different one. Anybody can see it a little different. Anybody can, but they're both objective in the fact that it takes a human to do these things, to think these things through. Any sentient being has to be there. That is not an argument whatsoever in any mannerism for subjective morality. You can make arguments against subjective morality that are actual arguments against the way the morality is structured, or you can make arguments basically straw man it, or you can show why subjective morality is better. However, what has been done is merely to straw man the argument. That's all it's done. It hasn't actually shown anything. I think people fundamentally fail at what objective morality is, and I'm not endorsing in any way, shape, or form that objective or subjective morality is right or wrong. I'm saying that I don't know. What I'm also saying is that these people, the people who tend to always agree that subjective morality is right on the grounds that objective morality can exist, don't seem to see far enough ahead to see that neither does subjective morality, and that even if you could prove that subjective morality didn't exist and objective morality didn't exist, that objective morality is automatically worse because it didn't exist. For example, it's like a placebo effect almost. If you think drinking this water makes you better, and it literally makes you better, or you can pay for expensive medication to do the same damn thing, why not pay for the water? Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be aware. I'm saying that what facts do you have that actually make it wrong, aside from the straw man argument?